Good evening, everybody, and now that I know that you're watching, hello, Harry. Welcome to the films that I watched this week. We start with this from 1944, Lifeboat, Alfred Hitchcock film, the first one location film that he did, set in World War II. You have Tallulah Bankhead sitting in a lifeboat. She is I'm guessing, a war correspondent because she's got a camera and stuff. And then a U-boat sunk, and then a ship is sunk, and then one by one the survivors come onto this little lifeboat, and then a German arrives. What do? Do they chuck him back? Do they keep him? And that's the basis of the film. A superb film from Alfred Hitchcock. A 8 out of 10. Then, from 2021, Max von Sydow's, or I thought Max von Sydow, but Max von Sydow's last film. I think he deserved better than this. He's hardly in it. And it's a war film about the massacre of Kalavrita, if I've said that right, where a massacre that I didn't know about. Shame on me, but I'm sure there's lots of those from World War II, where the entire male population of this place was wiped out, shot, men and boys taken to a hillside and just shot with a machine gun and left. It flips between 1943 and present day, where Max von Sydow is a survivor. The stuff in 1943, very interesting. Not so much present day stuff. You could have done without that, but well worth a watch for me. At least one watch anyway, if nothing more. Then I watched Mortal Kombat from 2021. I gave it another look, and I remember watching this. I sat in the chair quite ill because I had a horrible first half of this week. A cough, feeling all weak and shaky and cold. So I thought, I want to watch something that I've seen before, but nothing I've seen too often. So I watched the new Mortal Kombat film. I give it a 7 out of 10 instead of a 6 out of 10 this time. Much more enjoyable. But all of the issues and the problems and the things that I didn't like the first time round, they're still there. You know, people being miscast, things not looking very good, and the story being this. So all the things I didn't like, I still don't like. But the stuff that I enjoyed the first time, I enjoyed more. And then straight after that, I decided to watch that. And whether this is nostalgia, I don't know, but CGI or early special effects, the fact that it hasn't got any blood, and a couple of the fights are a bit iffy. Sonya Blade is miscast, I think, where she's better cast in the other film. But this has everything else going for it so much. A great soundtrack, great cast, great characters, and that's far superior. It is, but hell, when you feel like watching something, you just watch it. Then from this set, I watched a talkie. Maybe his first talkie. No, it's not. Great Dictator's first. Never mind. Monsieur Verdoux. Chaplin plays Henri Verdoux. He is a serial killer. He kills rich widows, murders them. Where he puts them, I don't know. I don't think the police ever find out either. He's quite proud of that. And takes their money. Dark comedy in which Chaplin stands out immensely. in all of his talky films, because he has such a rich speaking voice, that he made a transition from silent to sound easily. And Monsieur Verdoux, I give it an 8 out of 10. Really solid film. Which this is also a very solid film. Comedy of terrors. Vincent Price, Peter Lorre. What's his name? I'm looking at his face. What's his name? Boris Karloff and Sherlock Holmes. What's his name? Basil Rathbone. There he is. Vincent Price and Peter Lorre are undertakers. They're not very good undertakers. He's married to this woman that he can't stand. It's a lot of fun, a little bit of slapstick silliness, but Vincent Price is having an absolute ball. Absolute ball. He is superb. A really fun film, Comedy of Terrors, 1964. I give that one an 8 out of 10 as well. Then from 1997, a film I thought I'd seen but haven't, called Mimic, a Guillermo del Toro film. It's cockroaches carrying a deadly disease that's killing people, I think kids. So scientists create this new bug, this hybrid bug of two different bugs to try and eradicate the problem. It works, but things go wrong and they start killing people. The effects don't look too bad. It's a little bit slow. I could have done a little bit more bug stuff, but I give it a 6 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of Del Toro. I love Blade 2. I like Pan's Labyrinth. Haven't seen his Pinocchio, but I've seen clips of it, and it doesn't look like my thing. So I'm not a big fan of Del Toro. Like Kronos, the Devil's Backbone. No, but it was alright for a one watch. Then this film, I wasn't sure how I felt about this, watching this. From 2020, Run, Sweetheart, Run. The main character was Elena Belinska. And she goes on this business dinner with this guy, ends up on a sort of date, goes back to his house. Then you start hearing screaming and shouting. 30 seconds later, she comes running out all fucked up. Goes to the police don't help. She is being hunted by this guy. And I should have figured it out earlier, because there's a couple of lines and a couple of signs that, looking back now, I should have sussed that out. But he's not just a guy. There's more to him. I give it a 6 out of 10. I didn't mind it. I liked Ella Belinska. I thought she was a likeable lead. So, decent. Another first watch. Probably wouldn't watch it again. I did have one holy fuck moment in it. Then from 1986, Night of the Creeps. It should have stuck in the 50s. It started off in the 1950s, and I thought, I'm going to like this. Then it moved forward to the 1980s. It's a zombie film. You know, I needed more zombie stuff happening in it, as opposed to the last, 15, 20 minutes. A little bit more zombie stuff would have been nice. I wasn't keen on this at all. I give it a 4 out of 10. It's a kind of film I think you'll love more if you've seen it back in the 80s at a drive-in with a load of people. They might have that nostalgic connection to it. But for me, a 4. Not dog shit, like completely rubbish, but just not for me. Then I ended the week from this box set again, and I went to City Lights, a film considered one of the great films. Charlie Chaplin is the tramp. He meets and falls in love with a blind flower girl. And you see her with the flowers and stuff. hits me there, always does. And then he saves this rich dude from killing himself, and they become friends, but only when the rich dude's drunk. When he's sober, he wants nothing to do with him. And they two things play into each other. It's a very, very good film. My enjoyment of it makes it an 8 out of 10, but as a film, it's probably higher than 9s, maybe the 10s as a film. And the end scene, the end 5 minutes, yeah, nice. The whole story with him and her, it's sweet, it's touching. Just, the stuff with the rich dudes, like, hey, two lads out having a bit of fun, but then him and her, real nice. So that is everything I watched this week. Not a decent week. Not a decent week. No, not a bad week. There we go. Bob's got snow. We've got nothing. Soon be February, people. Can you believe it? Soon be February. So any luck, fingers crossed. As I always say, I'll be back again next week to talk about all of the films that I've watched again.